Former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson has written jointly to Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Opposition Leader Mark Golding, urging them to establish Jamaica as a republic in time for the country's 60th anniversary next year. In a 3-page letter dated December 2, 2021, the former Prime Minister urged both political leaders to act with unity of purpose in ending Jamaica's association with the British monarchy. His letter follows Barbados's historic step to declare itself a republic earlier this week. In his 3-page letter to the country's political leaders, the former Prime Minister says he appreciates the formidable challenges facing the country. He lists COVID-19, crime, corruption, and climate change as some of the most pressing challenges. Mr. Patterson is urging Holness and Golding to act with unity of action and transcend partisan borders. He also explained that he wants to see the leaders resume the Vale Royal talks, where he says he and former Prime Minister Edward Seaga settled issues requiring national consensus. He added that he wants Holness and Golding to also settle the method by which the country's ceremonial president should be elected. Mr. Patterson went on to say that is the only thing outstanding to decide regarding the issue. The former Prime Minister says the leaders should determine once and for all whether the president should be elected by a 2/3 majority of both houses sitting jointly or separately. The matter would then be put to the people of Jamaica by way of a referendum. He's calling for both parties to share a single platform in a campaign to secure national approval and allow for someone of our own image to become head of state. Mr. Patterson says such a move would be a spectacular contribution to building the parliamentary democracy. The former Prime Minister also wants the Constitution of Jamaica to be enacted by the Jamaican Parliament. He says there are retired professionals who will volunteer their expertise to undertake the necessary legislative work. Mr. Patterson says it is repulsive to contemplate celebrating the country's Diamond Jubilee, where the country's constitution rests on an order in Council of 1962, and the head of state remains someone who does not reflect the image of the Jamaican people. Mr. Patterson ended by urging the leaders not to allow Jamaica to be the last country to sever our colonial vestiges. In other news tonight, owners and operators of businesses in downtown Kingston are reportedly preparing to take the government to court over the general lack of order that exists in the capital city's bustling commercial hub, and which some insist is a violation of their economic property rights. At the same time, they are repeating an appeal to the administration to stop paying lip service to the decades-old idea of downtown redevelopment and revitalization, saying that unless there is genuine commitment to the creation of an organized and welcoming city center with thriving reinvestment, successive governments will continue to fail Jamaica. One of the issues that has created great discontent among the business operators is the haphazard nature of street vending that has created access challenges to their stores, both to customers and supply delivery vehicles, problems that they acknowledge will worsen in coming weeks as the country enters the busy Christmas shopping season. According to one business operator, he and his colleagues, including the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, JCC, have been trying without success to meet with the mayor, Councillor Delroy Williams, for the past 2 years to discuss the problems. The chamber reiterated its call for the establishment of a single joint leadership group with cross-cutting authority in order to get serious about the work. Still tonight, the LUCEA police in Hanover are investigating an incident in which 2 men in ELGIN town were shot and injured by armed men earlier today. It is reported that shortly after 8 a.m., the 2 men were walking along a dirt track which leads to their home when they were ambushed and shot multiple times by armed men. The gunmen escaped on foot in the area. The police were summoned and the wounded men rushed to the Noel Holmes Hospital in LUCEA. Last week, there was another murder in the community. In that incident, 20-year-old Delano Hines was fatally shot while riding his motorcycle. The killing is believed to be gang-related. Continuing with the news, a Barbadian is among 2 persons arrested in connection with the seizure of over 290 pounds of compressed marijuana at a house in Old Harbour, St. Catherine yesterday. Reports coming into our news center are that sometime after 8 p.m., members of the St. Catherine South Police Division conducted operations in the Spring Village community in Old Harbour, where a house was searched and 11 bags containing the compressed marijuana were seized. According to Superintendent Hopton Nicholson, acting divisional commander for the St. Catherine South Police Division, the St. Catherine South Police have ramped up operational activities across the division as the Yuletide season approaches. He said that the St. Catherine South Police will continue to carry out operational activities and putting a dent in the illicit drugs for guns trade between Jamaica and other islands is one of their major objectives. Superintendent Nicholson further stated that persons involved in this illicit trade will continue to be targeted in order to reduce the opportunities for persons to carry illegal firearms into the island. We go now to tonight's COVID-19 update, where the country's positivity rate now stands at 6.2% with 65 new cases and 4 additional COVID-19 deaths, pushing the total of cases now to 91,369 and increasing the total of fatalities from the virus to 2,406. The deceased are an 85-year-old woman from St. Elizabeth, a 64-year-old man from St. Catherine, an 85-year-old woman from Kingston and St. Andrew, and a 61-year-old man from Kingston and St. Andrew. Meanwhile, of the new cases, 37 are females and 28 are males ranging in age from 4 days to 84 years. In tonight's COVID-19 parish breakdown, St. Anne recorded 18 cases, Kingston and St. Andrew 16 cases, St. Catherine recorded 12 cases, St. James 8, Manchester 4, Trelawney recorded 2 cases, Clarendon, Hanover, St. Thomas, St. Mary and St. Elizabeth recorded 1 case each, while Westmoreland and Portland have no cases on record for the period. In the meantime, there were 45 additional recoveries, increasing the total of recovered persons now to 62,747. Continuing with the news tonight, the government is to provide Jamaicans with the opportunity to own a stake in the JAMALCO alumina refinery in Clarendon upon completion of the incorporation process. This was disclosed by Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, who said the government's vision is to go public with its stake in the newly formulated entity. Dr. Clark, who was speaking during this week's sitting of the House of Representatives, said that since the emergence of the country's bauxite industry in the 1960s, no Jamaican has ever had a direct economic interest in a bauxite and alumina plant in Jamaica. Dr. Clark maintained that this vision is within reach, adding that the ministry, working in tandem with Noble Group Holdings Limited, which has a joint stake in JAMALCO, appointed a new 9-member board, chaired by Port Authority of Jamaica Chief Executive Officer Professor Gordon Shirley. This for the government-owned Clarendon Alumina Production Limited, CAP, which holds a 45% interest in the refinery, to oversee the incorporation process preceding the proposed initial public offering IPO. The appointment followed CAP's transfer from the Ministry of Transport and Mining to the Ministry of Finance. Dr. Clark said the government has been working on the incorporation process over the last 4 years towards having all the vast arrays of assets, factory, land, machines, equipment, and liabilities required for operations fully vested in a new limited liability version of JAMALCO. Still tonight, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang on Wednesday officially commissioned into service the Orchid Road in Quarry St. James, which was rehabilitated by Carib Cement Company Limited, CCCL, at a cost of $40 million. The month-and-one-half-long project was undertaken through collaboration with community stakeholders and included redoing the formerly asphalted road with concrete and putting in proper drainage. Dr. Chang expressed appreciation on behalf of the residents, noting that the project adds value to the community given the tried and tested durability of concrete roads. Dr. Chang said that regular drain maintenance will be conducted to prevent any possible flooding. He also urged residents to be responsible and take care of the new infrastructure. Mayor of Montego Bay, Councillor Leroy Williams, in welcoming the rehabilitated roadway, said that it makes it easier for residents to traverse the community. CCCL's Managing Director, Diego Castro, said that the project was undertaken as part of the firm's ongoing effort to support community development. And that's our news package for you tonight. Thank you for tuning in to Mwllo TV Evening News at 8. I am Shelley Hill. Do stay safe and pleasant viewing.